Before starting my presentation, I would like to say that during all the previous excellent presentation from distinguished speakers, we talked about AI. I remember when in a conference held in Columbia University, when a famous professor was asked if we have to fear that one day AI will govern our lives, he answered that if we believe that AI govern our lives, then we probably are not aware of the power that have people who govern our world. So I would like to say that. But in any case, when we are asked about AI, it's better not to say bad words, okay? Passing now to the topic of my speech, social media, fake news and political thought. Speaking about those issues are always timely, living in a digital era. 2 weeks ago, in fact, only one day after the debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, the famous singer and global star Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris and informed her 284 million Instagram followers that she was going to vote for her. The impact of this endorsement on public opinion regarding the US presidential elections is amazing. Minutes after this post, the popularity of Kamala Harris has been boosted, and political analysts claim that it might play a decisive role in the vote of young people. Here, in Cyprus, in the last European Parliament election of June 2024, the young YouTuber and TikToker Fidias Panagiotou managed not only to be elected as an independent MEP, but also to beat many well-established political parties, coming in the third position of the people vote. Why I mention these cases? Because those two cases are indicative and illustrative of the great impact of social media on political thought, but also may spark the discussion regarding other similar crucial issues, such as how trustful are social media, especially since social media has been criticized for enabling misinformation in political contexts or during health crises like during the pandemic due to COVID-19. Therefore, my presentation is divided into two axes. Firstly, I will try to demonstrate the multidimensional connection between social media, fake news, and political thought. And in a second time, following a critical approach, I will try to suggest some indicative measures or proposals in order to promote a safe and powerful digital environment. Here you can see the contents of my presentation. Passing to the first part of the presentation, as just now has been described, I would like to narrow down the territorial scope of action, which of course is the digital environment. Of course, digital age refers to a multidimensional concept which is marked by the digitalization. Fundamental components of this term are integration of digital technologies, digital platforms, digital economy, scientific evolutions, and of course, new technologies. Please allow me to make a special reference to AI, not only for purposes of better approaching the main issue of the presentation, but also because AI constitutes the latest and of highest importance success of the digital evolution. All distinguished speakers have thoroughly analyzed several dimensions of AI, so I don't want to repeat things. Just I would like to underline that according to the European leaders, the main goal is to achieve a trustful and powerful AI. On the other hand, and talking always about digital era, social media platforms are on third position regarding media habits according to a relative Eurobarometer on media information conducted in 2023. However, online disinformation knows an ongoing explosion, according to another Eurobarometer. Social media help the spread and the explosion of fake news, due to the viral nature of the content, the different national legislation of the matter, anonymity, the lack of fact-checking, and the difficulty in establishing a harmonized regulatory framework. One of the most controversial questions is related to the dilemma between freedom of expression and protection of public security, two terms which shall be balanced ad hoc in order to give the appropriate answer. The relationship between AI, fake news, and social media is complex with both benefits and risks. In terms of politics, the deployment of AI in social media is either directly or indirectly connected with the exercise of fundamental rights, such as those to access to justice, freedom of expression, and security. Thus, its impact demands a thorough and critical analysis. Politicians often use AI and social media as a tool to draw or communicate their campaign or strategy to the people. In Denmark, there has born a new political party named Synthetic Party, which is led by an artificial intelligence bot system responsible for the development of its political program. The party, even though it didn't manage to take part in the country's general election in November 2022, knows a great progress. The Synthetic Party mission is certainly dedicated to raising awareness about the role of AI in human life and how governments can hold the AI accountable for bias and other social impacts. Moreover, the Danish Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, recently used ChatGPT to help write a part of her speech in Parliament. She wanted to highlight both the groundbreaking aspects and the potential risks of artificial intelligence. Since social media are strongly connected to the technological progress and know an ongoing update, inevitably they may act as a platform generating fake news in politics. The reasons are several for this phenomenon. Social media allows for instantaneous sharing, making it easy for users to spread news with a single click. Secondly, viral content is most of the time most attractive, even if the content is not accurate. Advances in AI and deepfake technology make it easier to create realistic but fabricated images, videos, or audio or political figures. And finally, one other reason is referring to political interference, which shall not also be ignored. Recently, in August, Mark Zuckerberg admitted that the Biden administration had pressured the company to censor COVID-19 content during the pandemic. So it becomes clear that social media and technology play a decisive role in the political process. There you can see some AI images which have been produced by Elon Musk and uploaded in Elon Musk X. At this point, I would like to proceed to the second part of my presentation. Following a critical approach, the political use of social media raises serious legal and ethical concerns. How easy is to control social media globally? What are the limits of freedom of expression on social media? How trustful and safe can be an algorithm? And to what extent shall AI be implemented in political life? Before providing answers to the above questions, it should be noted that there is a rich regulatory framework at institutional level in the area of social media. Here again, I don't want to enter into details since it has been presented thoroughly through the first panel by the excellent speakers, those legal texts. So I'm moving past to the next slide. And I would like to mention two references from European Parliament, which declares that certain AI systems intended for the administration of justice and democratic processes should be classified as high risk, Considering the potentially significant impact on democracy, rule of law, individual freedoms, as well as the right to an effective remedy and to a fair trial. Mandatory requirements are needed in order to have an AI system which is designated for being used in political processes. There must be a quality of data which are setting, technical documentation and record keeping, transparency, and the provision of information to users, human oversight and robustness, accuracy and cyber security. The European Parliament affirms that AI is an opportunity to improve the democratic process in our society. Council of Europe has underlined that AI has become a determining factor for the future of humanity as it continues to substantially transform individual lives and impact human communities. So it is acceptable and undoubtable that social media constitute a key factor for the promotion of democracy. And talking about e-democracy, we are talking about digital citizens and what we want to achieve. We want to achieve digital consciousness. So it has been demonstrated through the above analysis that using AI in politics is not a vision, but already a reality. Moreover, social media are widely used as a weapon at the hands of political leaders. However, from a critical point of view, there can be mentioned serious risk raised by this fact, leading to the following concern. Is democracy safeguarded, or are we moving to a manipulation of people? The fact that massive amounts of data are processed in order to assimilate user trends and behaviors and create a policy is quite dangerous. Predictions correspond to political strength and power for candidates. Algorithms can analyze people's intentions through activity on their profiles, helping election campaigns produce messages that are effective and targeting. For example, an AI-drafted strategy corresponds to a strong transformation on the policy-making process. Democracy is tampered with false correspondence with the aim of influencing voters, something which seriously damages the democratic engagement. Additionally, there is another point that should be underlined, that of disinformation. Facts, news, comments, and ideological arguments underposed in social media are exploitable elements. According to a recent survey conducted by the European Parliamentary Research Service, politicians are the main potential target of deepfakes, especially when they do not have the resources to protect their online presence. Consequently, any false content, such as generative AI content, can lead to deception on a large scale and damage public trust in democratic institutions. The result is obvious. People do not know what to believe. Respectively, misbelief in politicians may increase. Moreover, democratic representation is equally in threat, since a false generative AI content implies a malicious political strategy. In that manner, the scenario of the adoption of a legislation by an AI machine, either partially or not, shall not be considered far away from the reality. It has been also claimed that the unconditioned access to undefined personal data by corporate companies, especially on social media, may be used by law enforcement agencies in the future. This futuristic theory would promote AI tools as democratic actors, something which is not only dangerous but also raises another issue, that of accountability. In the previous session, I heard I heard an expression that I liked very much. We talk about democracy of machines or democracy of people. Thank you very much. I heard this expression. And now, in terms of conclusion, we can proceed to some useful thoughts which summarize our presentation. Disinformation as an online phenomenon is strongly connected with the online behavior and internet's nature. Technology always precedes law. In 2021, in January, a great deplatforming took place. Numerous internet platforms suspending the accounts of Donald Trump and his supporters. Private power over public speech is often contested. What was the solution that we gave? The solutions were based on principles of necessity, purpose, and proportionality. Another conclusion that we can present is that social media constitute an arena of impersonal interactive communications. Concluding, I would like to present you some practical measures against disinformation which have been published in a recent report conducted by the Global Digital Human Rights Network. Is a name of a cost action in which I'm a member, representing Cyprus with my esteemed colleague Philippe Zouglou. So, as such, practical steps against disinformation include monitoring and fact-checking. This process can be carried out by internet communications companies, academia, media, civil society, and independent fact-checking organizations. A second measure is lying on investigative responses, which establish the accuracy of online content and provide insights into disinformation campaigns, including its origins, key actors, degree or spread, and affected communities. Of course, we can suggest technical and algorithmic responses implemented by the social media platforms, video sharing, and search engines themselves, but also through third-party tools, e.g. browsers plugins, or experimental methods from academic research. Additional measures which focus specifically on the targets of the disinformation include ethical and normative responses carried out at international, regional, and local levels involving public consideration and condemnation of acts of disinformation. Educational responses which promote citizens' media and information literacy. It shall be underlined that any attempt to counter disinformation has to comply with the principles which we have set out in the section regarding the normative system. These include an ongoing and public discussion on the proportionality analysis by which appropriate levels of intervention in the right to freedom of expression and also the right to privacy are determined. I'm concluding. Ethical and normative responses are necessary in order to raise public awareness. I would like to draw your attention on this measure which has been proposed by our cost action. It was also our strong belief that criminal prosecution shall follow where disinformation caused particular harm or posed a particular threat. And I would like to underline this because here in Cyprus there was a great debate about how to fight against parody accounts. Criminal prosecution is not proposed for any actions, only for those actions who clearly produce a serious harm in public security. So this is why I would like to underline these measures. And finally, we suggest the establishment of expert unit teams which should be located outside the state or should not belong to public sector for purposes of impartiality, neutrality, and transparency. Those expert unit teams would develop strong cooperation with organs of state to handle crises and identify emerging threats. And I would like to finish my presentation telling that disinformation, fake news in social media are a global phenomenon. The challenges and concerns raised are equally global and serious. As such, global responses must be given in the favor of democracy and our society, leading to a powerful, trustful, and most of all, human-centric digital environment. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr.